Welcome back, English learners. Today, we're mastering a phrase that's perfect for finding common ground during a discussion. There's some truth to that. It's a sophisticated way to acknowledge a valid point while still maintaining your own perspective.
Exactly, Emma. It is a fantastic tool for diplomacy. It prevents an argument from becoming too heated because you are validating the other person's logic, even if you don't agree 100%. Let's look at a conversation about health. Suppose someone says, "To be healthy, you must cut out sugar completely."
That is pretty extreme. I might reply, well, there's some truth to that, considering sugar causes inflammation, but I think moderation is more sustainable than cutting it out entirely.
See, you agreed with the fact that sugar is bad, but disagreed with the strict method.
Imagine we are planning a holiday. I say, we should plan every single hour so we don't miss anything.
I prefer to be spontaneous, but I might concede by saying, there's some truth to that. If we don't book tickets in advance, we might miss the museums, but let's leave the evenings open.
That is a perfect compromise.
In a workplace scenario, a colleague might say, "We need to delay the launch to make the product perfect."
But the client is waiting. I could respond, I understand your worry, and there's some truth to that. Quality is crucial. However, we have a contractual deadline we cannot miss.
This keeps the professional relationship positive while asserting the deadline.
Let's talk about movies. You say, that action movie was terrible. It had no plot.
But the visual effects were amazing. So I would say, the story was weak, so there's some truth to that, but you have to admit the CGI was spectacular. This is a common debate. Remote work. Someone argues, working from the office is better for collaboration.
Even if I love working from home, I can admit I prefer my home office, but there's some truth to that. Spontaneous ideas do happen more often when we are face to face.
It shows you aren't stubborn and are listening to the other side.
Technology is a big topic. If I say AI is going to ruin creativity in writing,
I might disagree overall, but I'd say there is some truth to that in terms of generic content. But I believe AI will actually help artists brainstorm new ideas faster.
you accepted my fear as valid before offering your optimistic view.
Let's talk money. A friend says you should save every penny for retirement and never eat out.
That sounds boring. I would reply, there's some truth to that regarding financial security, but we also need to enjoy our lives right now.
Exactly. You acknowledge the wisdom of saving without accepting the extreme lifestyle.
I am a morning person. I tell you, waking up at 5 a.m. is the only way to be productive.
I hate mornings, but I could say, I am naturally a night owl, but there's some truth to that. The quiet morning hours are definitely distraction-free.
It acknowledges the benefit without changing your identity.
A purist might say, listening to audiobooks isn't real reading.
I love audiobooks. I'd defend them by saying, well, you aren't looking at text, so there's some truth to that, but the mental processing of the story is exactly the same.
A fair point. You conceded the technical difference, but defended the experience.
In language learning, some say you shouldn't study grammar, just speak.
As a teacher, I might say, immersion is key, so there's some truth to that, but without understanding the rules, you might fossilize bad habits.
This is the perfect balanced educator response. We have seen 10 different ways to use this phrase. It really softens a disagreement.
It does. Remember, saying there's some truth to that makes you sound open-minded, reasonable, and sophisticated. It builds bridges instead of walls.
Thanks for joining us. Try using this phrase in your next debate. See you next time.